Hey everyone, so sorry for the technical glitch earlier, but thanks for your patience and staying with us. So once again, good evening and thanks for tuning in. I'm Cassandra, bringing the Experience Nikon webinar to you. So this is week 4 into our series. A big thank you to those who have been watching and supporting us since week 1. So over the last decade, the way we consume and create media has changed enormously. Adoption of technology and self-publishing tools has allowed anyone with an internet connection to have a voice. And hence, the medium of video has grown exponentially, and it demands photographers and videographers these days to create quality contents across multi-channels platforms. So as a creator yourself, you want to be equipped with reliable and efficient tools and technologies to craft a storyboard into your reality. And having a trusty and reliable Nikon camera, such as the Z6, is excellent for its video outputs besides just stills, thanks to various features like the 8-bit, 4K UHD, 10-bit analog, 12-bit raw video capability. So besides your camera, we know that there are many other tools that are part of your workflow, from audio to lighting, production software, even right down to the storage of your files. And it's not enough just to be aware of them, but to know how to make the best out of each tool individually and collectively to stay at the top of your creative game. And this is what the Experience Nikon series is all about: creativity and collaboration. So each week, for about 30 minutes, we'll have on board a brand partner to share more on each tool and some basic setup with your Z cameras. And over the past 3 sessions, we'll learn about the importance of audio, lighting, stabilizers as part of storytelling. And tonight, we have our very own product and technical specialist, Albert from Nikon, to share, besides using your Nikon Z camera for your regular stills and videos, how you can make use of it for live streaming as well. So over to you, Albert.
Hi, thank you, Cassandra. Okay, a big apologize to everybody who were on the live stream previously. I think we have a little bit of our setting errors that now that we are back. I'm Albert. I'm going to share with you a lot on how to actually use your Nikon cameras, your powerful Nikon cameras as a webcam alternative, like what we are doing tonight. Then how do you level up your games itself? So without further ado, Cassandra is going to share a slides that we prepared earlier so that I can explain to you and go through with you step by step on how to actually make full use of the cameras for this kind of application itself.
Yes, Albert, you need to allow me to share screen.
We're doing it
via Zoom now, live via Zoom. So it's as live as it can get. All right, sharing screen.
Okay, cool. So on the screen itself, you see that this is actually a very classical settings on how it looks like when you use your cameras as a live stream camera itself. So you will have what I call that's your cameras, obviously. Then you most likely will be using some kind of microphone, as well as you will have a what I call it, monitor headphone up, so you can actually know what are you going to talk about, this and that. So with this, without further ado, let's start the presentation. Okay, so very simple. The first is we have to understand why would we use a Nikon as a webcam when most likely you will have a viewing webcams onto your laptops or even your iMacs or Mac or something like that. So why? So as you know, your cameras actually produce a much better image quality compared to your ordinary webcam. So you can have full control over what you're going to do. So you can easily create beautiful and yet very real bokeh, such as the one that I put it on the slide today for you to actually have some idea. So it can be very sharp on the focus area, the person itself, the model itself, in most cases, which is you because you're going live, right? Then you can have a very nice, soft bokeh that's actually enhanced overall presence itself. So today we are also using Nikon cameras as our webcam, both me and Albert and Cassandra as well. So if you see that this is actually a very simple setup that we just use Z6. Then we hook it up to the computers. Then we set the platform to actually make use of that to use the video cam itself. So let's look at if you want to do this, how to get started into this kind of application.
Well, Albert, let's show the audience also. You see, right now I'm showing them how it looks like on my built-in my laptop. The built-in webcam on my laptop, so they can probably see that there's the color and the ISO, you know, it's very grainy as well. So switching over to the Nikon Z6, you can see so much brighter without any change in the lighting situation.
Yeah, same location, different cameras, you have more control. Because the camera is flexible, you can actually move it to a different location. So now that it's actually eye level, is actually much better that you can see. Okay, so now, how to get started? So very simple. If you already have a cameras, right, that's the best out of it. Okay, then you have to make sure that, of course, obviously you have to have a lens, right? So in this case, we will recommend the Z, any of the Z series. It can be a Z6, Z5, or even Z50 that's you already have. Then as long as you have a lens that is compatible to the body, is perfectly fine. But here we recommend using just the 24-70 f4S, the kit lens itself, because it's very versatile and it produces a very nice result as well. If you have one of the prime lenses such as the 35mm, which is also fine, so you can actually have an even better bokeh controls in that scenario. So of course, there are so many methods that you can use to go live, right? So the first method, which I'm going to share now, is using a HDMI. So you will require a HDMI capture card. Okay, in the past, HDMI capture card is very expensive and it's very difficult to get because limited manufacturers actually produce it. But nowadays, thanks to the new norm that's caused by the pandemic, HDMI capture card has become relatively affordable. It can be as cheap as $10 US dollar, that all the way to still more than $100. There are still this kind of capture card. So depending on your needs and depending on your budget, there's so many options out there that you can choose. So for example, what I'm using today is actually a very, very affordable option. That's I bought it from online store. It only cost me $12. So it's very, very cheap. So on the picture itself, you will also see different kind of brands. These are some example. Then of course, you will also need the cable, HDMI cable. So just remember, every cameras may have a different HDMI port. There are a few types of ports available in Nikon camera. Most of it is having a mini port, which is similar to the one on the pictures itself. Then some models such as the Z50 has, because the camera's body is relatively smaller, right? The port is also smaller, so you have to be careful on that. And of course, if you intended to go live stream for an extended period of time, I'm talking about 1 hour, more than 1 hour, that it can be 2 hours, 3 hours, or even you want to go hardcore and go 8 hours live, definitely you need to consider using an AC adapter. There are such options available from Nikon as well as from the market itself. So just bear in mind that to consider the battery usage itself. Yep. So there are, okay. So alternatively, you can also use a USB method, which is relatively newer and also very popular nowadays because you don't need to buy anything. Your cameras come with a USB cables, right? Just use the cable, then go to Nikon Download Center and downloads the USB driver. Okay, currently the driver is in beta version. So the good news is today, this morning, actually, Nikon released the Mac version as well. Previously, it was only available in Windows, but starting from today, you also have the Mac support as well. Simply download the program, install it, then plug in the cables, turn on the cameras. You already have a quick solution with better image quality compared to the ordinary webcam itself. So there are two modes you can do, HDMI or USB. Yeah. So with that, you probably will be asking, so should I use the HDMI or should I use the USB method? There's two is available there, right? If you intended to unlock every potential capability from your cameras, the HDMI method is actually better. There's a few reasons of it I'm going to discuss with you shortly, but the USB method at the same time, actually it provides a very quick solution because you already have the cable. You don't need to buy anything additional, just use the cable. It's definitely giving you a much better image quality compared to the onboard webcam itself. So how does the HDMI modes differ? So basically, HDMI methods by plugging in, depending on your capture card, basically it allows you to choose whether you want to stream in 4K, 1080p, or even 720p. That's available in some of the streaming platforms. So for example, if you are doing a live stream to YouTube, do you know that you can actually go as high as 4K whenever you need it? So that's one way that to fully utilize what the camera is capable of. And of course, using HDMI method got one perks. You can actually embed your audio inside the stream. This reduce or completely avoid any lip sync error. So you may realize that sometimes when you do this kind of a video live stream, sometimes the audio, the dialogue itself is missynchronized from your lips. So it's a bit strange, especially you're streaming in such a high resolution video. Everything is so obvious now, right? So you have full correct embedding support in HDMI method, as well as the cameras provide a full creative control. I'm talking about all the exposure is working, ISO is working, even your picture control is working. You can do a lots of things from there. So moving on to USB method. The basic functionality is the same, except that USB method, because of the limited bandwidth from USB cable itself, the resolution supported is actually reduced and limited, regardless of whether you shoot in 4K or 1080p in your cameras. It will be downsized to 720p and stream to your computer. So your computer, such as Facebook Live or Zoom, like what we are using now, it will actually pick up the signal as a 720p, still higher than most of the webcam out there. Then it's actually allows you to do full creative control. One different comparing this and the HDMI is the USB does not support audio embedding. So whatever you do, your microphone, you have to use it, one of the microphone from the computer itself, or your external microphone has to plug into the computer instead of plugging into your cameras. So you have a chance that may have a little bit of a lip sync error depending on the software settings that you're going to use. Lastly, of course, both method is still better than common webcam, straightforward. So webcam is commonly known to have a very poor image quality, as well as when it's under low light situation is even worse. Then of course, one of the best part of our common webcam is that it's simple. It's built in, you just enable and disable. Nothing can go wrong unless the whole thing spoiled. So that's the benefit of webcam, but at the downside, it reduce everything. So knowing you guys that's joining our live stream tonight, you guys are somewhat interested to have a much better quality, especially coming from Nikon, this and that. Definitely you will want to try the USB or the HDMI method itself. Yeah. Okay. So the using cameras, you also have a very flexible setup. So on the pictures itself is actually my user setup that I have it for my workstation. So basically, these are modular design. You can add anything that you feel that is helpful for you. So in my case, actually, I have my laptops on the left side. Then I have external monitors on the right side of my table. Then actually, I use a very small clamp. I just clip it onto my monitor itself. Then I have a Z50 there. Then also I put in a microphone from DT, which is one of our partners that I put it there. Then after that, I use the HDMI out to a capture card, which is at the bottom of the monitor. If you see that, there's a capture card over there. So this is my common setup that I use it. A lot of times it's used for works, for web conference, this and that, and a session like today's session. This is what I do. And you will be asking that that is too heavy for the screen. That's how the beauties of the newer mirrorless cameras itself. It can be as light as this. Even though I put it on my monitor, the monitor is basically still surviving as normal, nothing crashed, and everything works as how it should be. So these are some examples that you can actually do it in your, you can actually set up and use it from your typical the application. So especially some newer generation of a higher end monitor, I would say, they do have a USB port from the monitor itself. You can go from that USB port and go into your cameras that then you can actually have one less cable to worry about. That's what you can do. So from here, then this is what we can share as from a theory point of view. So we are going to show you how you can actually set it up in your cameras. What kind of things that you should do before to use it for a live stream. Yeah, I think no more. So there's the end of the slides. I'm going to show the cameras. I'm going to use my Z50. Sorry, my another Z6 that's for example. So this is a typical Z6 cameras that's this is just a HDMI cable is going to my capture card. So what you can do is I'm going to share the screen from my cameras so that you can see. Just give me a short while. Let me switch the cameras. Yeah. Okay. This is how it looks like from the cameras itself. Just give me a short while. Okay. First thing first, you need to go to this area, which is the timer. This is for Z6. you should have more or less the same setting in your Nikon cameras. So inside timer, one thing that you should be aware of is the power off delay, which is the standby timer. So from here, this one, particularly this one, standby timer, you need to set it to no limit. By default, it's actually set to 10 seconds. This feature is actually to help you to conserve battery when you're not using the cameras. The problem is when we use a live stream, we are not recording using cameras. We are actually using the camera's output only. So the camera wouldn't know whether we are we doing something or we unintendedly left it running. So you will turn it off after 10 seconds. So with this standby timer, it will make sure that your live stream go on as long as you want it to be. So this is one option. Then after that, you just need to go to what I call the normal video mode. Then you should start seeing your videos as how it is. So as simple as that. So for Z series, because the lenses also allows you to do quite a lot of different settings. Okay, I would recommend going to the under the G and movie. There's an AF speed. For my personal preference, I usually set the AF speed to slightly lower. I use a -3 here. Then for tracking sensitivity, I put a 3. Why do I set this setting? Because in the autofocus mode, that's when I'm doing my video shoots, I can actually have the autofocus on by using the AFF, full-time AF. Then I can set it to auto area mode. The cameras will actually select and focus on me when I'm in front of the cameras automatically. But because of the AF speed that I set, the sensitivity as I set, it will react very fast, but it does not change focus abruptly. It will change gradually. So everything so looks very natural and this and that. But also, because when we use a live stream, especially at home, set up this and that, right? You are mounting the cameras on a stable platform. So I will recommend turning off the VR off so that you actually conserve the power more, so you can use it for even longer time. A typical battery, a good condition battery in Z6 will allow you to stream 70 to 80 minutes of live stream session before you need to change your battery. So there's more or less some suggestion that you can have then that for your live stream session to go on. Yep. So this is more or less in how you can do. If you are having Z5 or Z50, for example, the settings is actually more or less the same. So you should have some rough idea on how it's going to be. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Albert, for sharing on the setup of how to set up your Z series for live streaming. Well, a couple of questions crossed my mind, Albert. So earlier on, when you say you can have more creative control, right? What do you mean by that? And can you do some demonstration for the audience?
Okay, for creative control, actually is quite interesting. So I'm going to change my settings shortly so you can see on myself. So how it happens is that, okay, you look at my screen, you notice that the color change. There are so many of them, right? So these are actually called picture profile. So these are pictures profile that you can actually change depending on your needs. That's or if you want to go creative, I want to go black and white, I want to go a very moody kind of shoot, or day to night effect, this and that. These are available inside the cameras. There are 20 of them. You can even further customize to different levels of effect that you want to use. This is my standard looks, which is I set it to be a ordinary standard. Doesn't show anything different, but you can do as you go, is as you need. Yeah, this is one of the example. Yeah.
That's very convenient. In this case, you probably don't need to go through the post process, post production to change the color, add on filters. So it's straight from the camera.
Yes.
And I was also thinking, besides the Z6, what other models cameras, of Nikon cameras can you live stream with? Can you do that with the DSLR as well?
Very good question. So it's actually a very good news to share is that most of the Nikon cameras, you will be able to work with this live stream both method, HDMI as well as the USB methods. Okay, so for example, besides your Z6, you can use any of the Z series, your Z7, your Z50, Z5, they will work. or your common DSLR such as your D850, your D750, 7500s, or even your D5, D6, or D5600 will also work. So most of these models will allow you to do a quite pretty interesting live stream. So depending on the model itself, the supported features may be more or less slightly different, but in general, they can be used in such application itself. And of course, you have tons of lens to choose to create a unique look. You probably can explore into using a fisheye lens on the live stream. Yeah.
Well, last question. Can you record, while doing live streaming concurrently?
Good question. You can actually do that with many of the software supported. Okay, of course, the cameras allow you to record, but it doesn't make sense to record from the camera itself because there's a lot of things that you also do it in the, for example, your Zoom live view, YouTube live, such as that. Most of the live stream platform will automatically record whatever you stream into it, including Facebook, YouTube will do that. Zoom allows you to record onto your local drive as well. Also allows you to do it on cloud depending on how you use it. And when it comes to live stream, there's a software that's pretty popular out there, which we call it OBS, Open Broadcaster, and some of the variants such as a Streamlab, this and that. These are all allows you to stream at the same time, record as well. So there are so many things that you can do, and you can actually explore. And if you need any help, of course, feel free to let us know in the comments, and we will actually assist you as much as possible. Yeah.
Thank you, Albert. Live streaming is quickly becoming a preferred mode of social communication, for many of us working remotely, practicing social distancing these days. So it's quite important to know this absolutely crucial tool in today's world. And since you already own a camera capable of superb picture quality, why not, use it for your next video conference or live streaming on your social media, And thank you once again, Albert from Nikon Singapore, for sharing.
Thank you very much
Tonight, and to you guys for tuning in and for your patience earlier on with the technical glitch, And do catch us next week as we have our brand partner, Asus Store. It's going to share more about the integration of storage and backup of the multimedia assets. Thank you, everyone, once again, and have a good week. Goodbye.